Long life. This way.
Em sợ vốn nữa ơi.
Chúng đi vào đi.
Vâng.
Kadang yang mau masuk itu.
Ya coba tuh. Apa sih?
Klik kan seperti press lah.
Nah, gue press.
Keluar bekar nih. Kita lihat क्या था.
उठो चेयर को नीचे बैठो खींचो
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Daruni from District Baramulla. Today I stand before you to talk about an ambitious and transformative reform, one nation, one election. A vision that has the potential to reshape India's democratic framework and accelerate its journey towards Viksit Bharat by 2047. Currently, elections in India take place at multiple levels: Lok Sabha, state assemblies, and local bodies at different times. This results in a continuous election cycle that disrupts governance, burdens the economy, and strains administrative resources. The concept of one nation, one election proposes synchronizing all elections so that they are held simultaneously across the country, ideally once every 5 years. One nation, one election is an important milestone for achieving the goal of Viksit Bharat. Frequent elections affect economic growth, investment decisions, and delay development programs due to model code of conduct. Conducting elections to all three tiers of the government together would avoid disruption of supply chains and production cycles. Holding simultaneous elections would reduce the massive expenditure incurred for the conduct of separate elections every year. Diversion of human resources such as security forces and other electoral officers like teachers from their primary duties for a significantly prolonged period that affect our education system would be reduced to some extent. One nation, one election initiative would also reduce the burden on courts. Fewer election means fewer election-related disputes, reducing the workload on courts. One nation, one election would ensure a stable political environment, attracting foreign and domestic investments, fostering entrepreneurship and accelerating economic growth. A single synchronized election would improve voter engagement and awareness, strengthen democracy. One nation, one election would encourage issue-based politics, fostering a collective vision for national development. One nation, one election is more than an electoral reform. It is a transformational step towards a stable, prosperous, and developed India. By ensuring efficient governance, economic growth, and national unity, it lays the foundation for Viksit Bharat by 2047. Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time to act towards a stronger and developed India. The future of Bharat is in our hands. Thank you, Jai Hind.
Thank you, Uni. Now I call upon Paika Mushtaq from Baramulla, Thomas State to share with you.
Am I audible? Thank you. Start. Elections are the bedrock of democracy, but their frequency must not hinder the march of development. Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to all of you. This is Faika Mushtaq and I'm from District Baramulla. I'm here to speak about one nation, one election and how it's a way for achieving the mission of Viksit Bharat. It can be simply understood if we talk about the number one thing, that's the governance disruption. The governance disruption in India comes to a grinding halt. As soon as elections are announced, moral code of conduct is issued, and which in turn results in the pause button in the policy making, and all the developmental projects are put to halt. This does not last for days, but it extends for months together. If we take the example of the year 2017, alone in the year 2017, the model code of conduct lasted for 7 months, which means more than half a year, India was on a pause button. Not only public investment slows down, funds for schools, hospitals, roads, etc., they all get stuck in limbo, resulting in the pause in development. By introducing one nation, one election, there will be an increase in development. If we wanted to see the developed India, a developed nation, for that purpose, development must be continuous. India cannot be developed by putting a pause button on it. Number two, incredible expensive elections. 2019 Lok Sabha election alone costed 6,000 crores. If we add up the expenses of other elections, then the amount will be enormous. It has been found out that if one nation, one election policy will be introduced, it will not only decrease the cost, but there must be 1.5% increase in GDP, inflation will be decreased by 1%, and government expenditures may increase up to 18%. And not only this, the economic investments will be increased by 0.5%. This is such an enormous amount, this is such a huge amount that can be used in a number of projects, like in education system or in the health sector. So we can achieve the developed nation. India can be made developed. Moving forward, we have number 3, that's administrative hurdles. Every time elections are held, essential services take a hit. Police officers, teachers, and other local officials, they are literally dragged for their official duties and they are put on their election duties. Not only this, the schools turn into polling stations, not once, but number of times during a year, which immensely affect the education system of India. Ladies and gentlemen, not only this, with elections happening every month, our politicians are mostly focused on winning the elections rather than governance. So if the elections are held once 5 years, if the one nation, one election policy is introduced, the politicians will be more focused on governance. They will take initiatives, they'll do developments, they'll do things they were meant to do. I'll conclude by saying this. As a result, one nation, one election policy in India, it's one of those important reforms that can make the dream of Viksit Bharat to come true. Thank you so much for your patient listening. Stay calm, stay blessed, pure and love.
Thank you, Paika. Now it's the turn of Faizan Farooq Malla from District Bandipura.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon to everyone. Today, I will talk about the prosperity of our nation through the vision, through the one nation, one election. If the Viksit Bharat is a vision, the prosperity of our nation in every aspect, but we should know the one nation, one election is the method to complete this vision, to complete this reality, to complete this vision into reality. The reality to build the education system, the reality to enhance the healthcare systems, the reality to provide the facilities for both the people who live in cities as well as who belong from marginalized or peripheral areas. That very situation is only possible because of one nation, one election system. Because it reduces the rate of economic expenditure and less in time consumed. One nation, one election is blood step towards more efficient democracy. Imagine the democracy where when the policy is formulated at the center level, but at the same time it is executed and exercised at the state level as well as the local level. It will refers to super and for the whole nation. One nation, one election is not just a policy, it's a movement towards a brighter and more developed nation, the India. Let's embrace the change and work together and to make this vision a reality means the same time work for the whole nation.
Thank you, Faizan. Now I call upon Faizan Mushtaq Sheikh from District Bandipura.
Thank you, sir. From the mighty Himalayas in the north to the beautiful serene beaches in the south, and from the ferocious Thar Desert in the west to the lush green valleys in the east, we the people are united. We are united not only geographically, we are united socially, economically, and politically. Then I ask, Why, ladies and gentlemen, comes where democracy happens. Honorable jury, esteemed dignitaries, and my dear fellow youth leaders. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I, Fazan Mushtaq, from Bandipura, the land of Ilm, Adab, and Adab, as it's known, representing Government Degree College Summer, stands before you all to discuss, to advocate for one of the most important topic and one of the most transformative idea that is revolving around the nation right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you one nation, one election. This is the idea which can become the stepping stone to attain the dream of Viksit Bharat, or rather, I should say, developed India by 2047. This is the idea which can become the reason to unite all the 28 states, 8 union territories, 788 districts, 6,49,741 villages. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that youth parliament is not just about sharing the things which have already been discussed. It's about putting forward new perspectives. It's about putting forward new ideas. And here I am with one. I believe that keeping this in mind, we need to focus on 3 domains. First, when should we implement one nation, one election? This is the principal critique of opposition. Second, why should we implement this? And third, how should we implement this? Coming to the first, ladies and gentlemen, don't worry. You will get solution for every problem when you have youth parliament. Not just youth parliament, youth in the parliament. Ladies and gentlemen, I did a little research and came to a conclusion that the best time to implement one nation, one election is October, November 2028. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the solution. October, November 2028, because the general elections will arrive directly. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll have to focus the things that at 2028, most of the states will have completed at least 4 to 4.5 years of their tenure, except Bihar. Bihar will complete 3 years of its tenure. But to make everything in a single go, we'll have to slightly either increase or slightly decrease the tenure of the state assemblies to make everything in a single go. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the second point, that why should we implement this? My dear brothers and sisters, 2019 election will be remembered forever because government of India spent 60,000 crores for the single election. Imagine the impact if the same amount of money was invested in healthcare. Imagine the impact if the same amount of money was invested in education or infrastructural development. My dear brothers and sisters, the government is always in an election mode. They don't get enough time to focus on the governance. They don't get enough time to focus on the national issues. Coming to the third point, why should we implement this? Ladies and gentlemen, how should we implement this? By educating people. We should educate people to make them able to distinguish between good and bad. We should make them feel, we should make them decide, is this government worthy to be chosen again or not? I would like to conclude my talk by the sayings of Nelson Mandela. I quote him: elections should be celebrated as festivals. Elections should not become roadblocks to the governance. That was my time. Thank you.
Thank you, Faizan. You have got the loudest cheer till now. So congratulations for that. Now I will call upon Feroz Ahmed Najjar, again from Bandipura district. Come on the stage and share his.
मैं फिरोज अहमद नजाम डिग्री कॉलेज सुंदर से सेकंड सेमेस्टर आज यहाँ एक जरूरी और बुनियादी साजी मौजू पर अपना नजरिया पेश कर रहे हैं वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन। आज मैं यहाँ सिर्फ एक तकरीर करने नहीं आया बल्कि एक सोच जगाने आया हूँ। एक ऐसी सोच जो भारत को एक नए दौर में ले जा सकती है, विकसित भारत की। लेकिन सवाल ये उठता है, क्या एक चुनाव वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन इस भाव को हकीकत में बदल सकता है? जरा एक लम्हे के लिए सोचें, हर साल कहीं ना कहीं इलेक्शन हो रहा होता है। कभी राज्यसभा, कभी लोकसभा, कभी विधानसभा। हर दूसरे महीने एक नया पॉलिटिकल टूर्नामेंट, एक इलेक्शन सेशन। क्या ये अक्लमंदी है? क्या ये भारत जैसे विकसित होने की राह पर चलने वाले मुल्क के लिए एक मुफस्सिल मिसाल है? एक चुनाव, एक साथ, एक बार, ये सिर्फ पॉलिसी नहीं बल्कि एक सोच है जो भारत के मुस्तकबिल को एक नई सिमत दे सकती है। भारत की मैशत का फायदा हर इलेक्शन में हजारों करोड़ रुपए खर्च होते हैं। रैलीज, वोटिंग मशीन, सिक्योरिटी कैंपेन्स। अगर ये पैसा हेल्थ केयर, एजुकेशन और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर लगे तो सोचिए भारत कितनी तेजी से आगे बढ़ सकता है। सियासी इस्तिकाम और तरक्की। बार बार इलेक्शन होने से पॉलिटिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी पैदा होती है। हुकूमतें अपना पूरा वक्त इलेक्शन मोड में रहकर सियासत में लगा देती है, पॉलिसी नहीं बदलती। अगर एक साथ इलेक्शन हो तो एक स्टेबल और फोकस्ड हुकूमत मिलेगी जो सिर्फ तरक्की पर ध्यान देगी। एक भारत, एक सोच। जब पूरा मुल्क एक साथ वोट देगा तो एक मजबूत यूनिटी का पैगाम जाएगा। ये रीजनल और नेशनल प्रायोरिटीज के दरमियान बैलेंस पैदा करेगा और एक ट्रूली फेडरल डेमोक्रेसी को। लेकिन हर नए नस्ल के साथ कुछ चैलेंजेस भी आते हैं। क्या हर रियासत एक साथ इलेक्शन के लिए तैयार होगी? क्या हर जगह फेयर इलेक्शन हो पाएगा? सॉल्यूशंस मौजूद है। टेक्नोलॉजी, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट्स और फेसिड इम्प्लीमेंटेशन के जरिए हम इसको मुमकिन बना सकते हैं। दोस्तों, अगर भारत को विकसित भारत बनाना है तो नए सॉल्यूशंस की जरूरत है। वन नेशन, वन इलेक्शन एक ऐसी सोच है जो सिर्फ सरकार का नहीं बल्कि हमारा भी एजेंडा होना चाहिए, क्योंकि डेमोक्रेसी का असल मतलब सिर्फ वोट डालना नहीं बल्कि बेहतर भारत बनाना है। आज ये हम सबकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि हम इस कन्वर्सेशन को आगे ले जाए, इस ताज को हर सिटीजन तक पहुंचाए, क्योंकि अगर कल भारत बदलना है तो आज की सोच भी बदलनी पड़ेगी। बाकी वसलाम।
Thank you, Feroz. Now I call upon Fazil Rashid Ganai from District Kupwara, serial number 36.
मुअज़्ज़िज़ सामीन किराम, हमवतन अज़ीज़ साथियों, अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू। बिकुल शायर बार बार की उलझन दूर करें, बार बार की उलझन दूर करें, जमहूरियत को हम मजबूत करें। एक देश, एक चुनाव एक ऐसा कदम है जो हमारे मुल्क की जमहूरी निजाम में इनकलाबी तब्दीली ला सकता है। हिंदुस्तान को तरक्की की राह पर गामजन करने के लिए हमें एक मजबूत मुस्तहकम निजाम की जरूरत है। हिंदुस्तान को दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी जमहूरियत है। यहाँ हर चंद माह बाद कहीं न कहीं इंतखाबात होते रहते हैं, चाहे केंद्र सरकार का चुनाव हो, चाहे राज्य सरकारों के चुनाव हो, चाहे बल्दियाती या पंचायती चुनाव हो। नतीजा क्या? सरकारी मशीनरी मुसलसल इंतखाबी मोड में रहती है, तरक्याती काम मुतासर होते हैं, पॉलिसी साजी में रुकावटें आती हैं और मुल्क के वसाइल पर गैर जरूरी बोझ पड़ जाता है। क्या ये हमारे विश्व गुरु भारत की शान के मुताबिक है? मेरे ख्याल से हरगिज नहीं। यही वजह है कि एक देश एक चुनाव का तस्वीर भारत को विकसित भारत बनाने की एक ताकतवर राह दिखाता है। अगर पूरे मुल्क में एक साथ इंतखाबात हो जाए तो न सिर्फ आवाम का पैसा और वक्त बचेगा बल्कि हुकूमतें पूरी 5 साल तरक्की पर ध्यान दे सकेंगी। सियासत खिदमत का जरिया बनेगी, न कि बार के इंतखाबात की जंग, मुल्क की तवानाई, मुल्क के वसाइल, मुल्क की ताकत सिर्फ और सिर्फ तरक्की, खुशहाली और विकसित भारत की तामीर में इस्तेमाल होंगे। एक देश, एक चुनाव न सिर्फ वक्त की जरूरत है, बल्कि एक मजबूत, खुदगफीर और जदीद भारत की पहचान भी। आइए हम सब मिलकर इस सोच को आगे बढ़ाएं और हिंदुस्तान को विश्व गुरु बनाने में अपना किरदार अदा करें। जब एक साथ चुनाव होगा, जब एक साथ चुनाव होगा, तभी तो भारत आगे बढ़ेगा, तभी तो भारत आगे बढ़ेगा। शुक्रिया।
Thank you, Father. Now is the turn of Muhammad Dar, serial number 37 from district Bandipur.
Respected Judge, esteemed guests and my dear friends, a very warm greeting to all of you. Myself, Jim from Jalpur, Sonawari. I'm doing my BA honors in English literature at GDC Subal. Today, I am here not only as a speaker, but as a strong believer in the unlimited nation. In the unlimited nation, it is an idea. It's an idea, a civilization effort. It's an idea, a civilization, a force that has survived the passage of time. Now with the goal of Viksit Bharat 2047 is in sight. The question is no longer if we can become a developed nation, but when we can do so. To achieve stability, the incorporation of one nation, one election is critical. India should take the forefront in AI, biotechnology, and green energy. Skills and educations of the youth are very important, and skills and education of the youth should focus on entrepreneurship instead of being unemployed. Infrastructure is backbone of any developed country, like road, railways, smart cities, and connectivity are essential for advancement. Now, dear friends, this is Bharat is that while each season is a part of it, while there is a celebration of diversity, and while difference never separate us but makes us stronger. Development is not merely economic; it's a social, it's a social, cultural, and moral as well. My dear friends, which is Bharat is our dream. It's our dream. It's our duty. It's our responsibility as well, and duty which is upon the shoulders of each Indian. We are not just only witness to history. We are the makers of India's future. If we dedicate ourselves to this vision, if we truly work together with passion and commitment, then by 2047, when we are celebrating our 100 years of independence, we will be one of the most developed countries in the world. The world is waiting, and we have to answer it. Now, I want to conclude this debate through a little talk. One nation, one election is a reform that can pave the way for a Viksit Bharat. By implementing one nation, one election, India can reduce expenditure, improve governance, and increase efficiency, ultimately paving the way for a developed and prosperous India. Thank you.
Now I invite Uma Khurshid from district Kupwara to come on stage and share views. Serial number 41. Serial number 41.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Imagine an India where leaders spend 5 full years shaping policy instead of taking votes. A nation where taxpayer money builds schools and hospitals instead of funding elections every few months. Imagine a democracy that is stronger, more efficient, and truly focused on development. This is not just a dream. It is the promise of one nation, one election. A reform that can pave the way for Viksit Bharat and comes from the very foundation of democracy. Elections are the lifeblood of democracy, but one has too frequently have burden. Today, India is always in election mode. Lok Sabha elections, assembly elections, and local body elections each have separately, disrupting governance and draining resources. Ministers, officials, and the entire system shift to focus from policy making to election campaigning. As a result, development takes a backseat. Elections cost thousands of crores that could be used for development. Teachers, police, and officials use their duties to manage elections. Frequent elections lead to short-term politics, not long-term politics. One nation, one election will help in better governance. Leaders can focus on development, not on winning the next election. Billions of rupees can be redirected towards education, healthcare, and infrastructure instead of election logistics. One well-planned election will ensure more participation. A single election cycle will bring strong decision making. Yes, this reform needs constitutional change and political agreements, but let's ask ourselves, is progress ever easy? If a nation of 1.4 billion people can conduct the world's largest election, can't we find a way to streamline them? If India wants to become a global superpower by 2024, we need bold reforms and strong action. One nation, one election is not just an idea, it's a revolution in governance. It will save time and money and will push India towards Viksit Bharat. Let's not let politics hold back progress. Let's move towards a stronger, united, and developed India. This is a stronger democracy. This is a stronger nation. Thank you.
Now I call upon Lubna Rashid from district Bandipora to come and share her views. Serial number 53. Lubna Rashid.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah everybody. Am I audible? Okay. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah everybody. For the record, my name is Lubna Rashid and I'm a law student from Super Law College. And as it is pretty obvious by now that we are here to talk about one nation, one election, paving the way for Viksit Bharat. One nation, one election is India's oldest electoral experiment yet, a high-stakes gamble to overhaul the country's entire political system where everything gets bundled into one single spectacle. One nation, one election is the idea of holding simultaneous elections for the Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies. Simply somehow, so separate elections are like puzzle pieces and one singular election is like a bigger picture. As we all know, that elections in India feel like a never-ending reality show, always campaigning, rarely governing, and all that political drama. And also, as per the statistics, elections का cost ये कुछ 60,000 crores का जाता है. And here's a brain trivia. इतने सारे पैसे से हम 1.5 billion meals provide कर सकते हैं. According to another statistics, पिछले 5 सालों में हमने 800 days of code of conduct देखा है. कुछ states में हमने 200 days out of 365 days code of conduct देखा है. इतना सारा तो बाकी का time में हम क्या करें? साथ ही साथ हम अगर देखें तो इसकी वजह से there is a terrible disrupting stability as the officers who are usually on election duties are from the departments of education and municipality. वो लोग ये कर रहे हैं तो उनके departments को कौन संभालता है? Now, if you want a historical perspective, तो one nation one election is not a new concept. हमारे पहले के 3 elections जो हमने conduct कराए थे वो इसी तरीके से कराए थे with simultaneously to the state legislature assemblies. Now, also the burden on the defense security forces is tremendous और वहाँ भी मैंने आपका ध्यान खींचना है. क्यों? क्योंकि every election demands massive deployment of security forces from the armed forces to state police to guarding polling stations, maintaining order, and prevent election violence. this weakens border security one nation because this diverts resources from public security to defense duties. One election would free up these forces to focus protecting the nation rather than guarding these ballot boxes. In my conclusion, I would like to say that one nation, one election isn't just a political reform, it is a strategic reform. And जैसे हमने बाकी सारी policies को इतने chances दिए हैं, one nation, one election is a kind of reform that deserves a chance because with some trials and errors. In my conclusion, I would like to say that it's time to stop the cycle of endless elections and embrace a system where one vote defines the future of both the nation and the state. In my conclusion, I would like to quote a quote which is said by nobody that we should always look forward to one step ahead. That's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Now I invite Mehak Hassan from District Kupwara to come on stage and share her views. Serial number 57.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. The question, one nation, one election, does Bharat need it? कितना अच्छा होगा अगर लोकसभा, विधानसभा और ग्राम पंचायत के सारे चुनाव एक साथ होंगे? One nation, one election. अगर हम इसको विकसित भारत की कॉन्टेक्स्ट में देखें तो एक इम्पोर्टेंट रोल अदा करता है, बहुत बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट रोल अदा करता है भारत को विकसित बनाने में, भारत को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने में। और इससे सेंटर और स्टेट के इलेक्शन एक साथ होंगे और ये एक आइडिया भी रहा है बीजेपी सरकार की। अगर हम बात करें तो उनका एक आइडिया भी रहा है, उनके मैनिफेस्टो में 2014 से एक हिस्सा रहा है, एक बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा रहा है। इसके बहुत सारे, अगर हम देखें, बहुत सारे एडवांटेजेस हैं। जैसे कि अगर हम इलेक्शन की बात करें तो इलेक्शन में हुए एक्सपेंडिचर का काफी पैसा बच सकता है अगर हम इस सिस्टम को लागू करेंगे, क्योंकि इंडिया में देखा गया है एक्सपेंसिव इलेक्शन रन करता है। दैट मींस अगर 2019 की बात हम करें तो 2019 में 60,000 करोड़ रुपए इसमें स्पेंड हुए थे लोकसभा इलेक्शन पे। दैट मींस जो एक्सपेंडिचर है वो काफी स्पेंड हुआ था इस इलेक्शन प्रोसेस में। अगर हम एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की बात करें तो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन प्रोसेस भी काफी फोर्स रहता है, वो काफी प्रेशर में रहते हैं और वो एंगेज रहते हैं इस प्रोसेस में, इस इलेक्शन प्रोसेस में। रादर देन वो फोकस करें अपने जो वर्क है उस पे फोकस करें। और ये जो प्रेशर है, ये जो फोर्स है, इसको हम कम कर सकते हैं अगर हम इस सिस्टम को इंडिया में लागू करेंगे। Similarly, it is the case with security force. अगर हम security force की बात करें तो उनके साथ ऐसा ही है कि वो भी इस इलेक्शन प्रोसेस में एंगेज होते हैं। उनको अगर हम इस सिस्टम को लागू करेंगे तो उनको साल भर के बजाय सिर्फ 5 साल में एक ही बार इस चुनाव में, इस इलेक्शन प्रोसेस में एंगेज होना पड़ेगा। और अगर हम देखिए बाकी जो सेक्टर्स है, लाइक एजुकेशन सेक्टर या बाकी जो एक्स्ट्रा जो भी इसमें इंक्लूडेड है, जो इलेक्शन प्रोसेस में इंक्लूड होते हैं, तो अगर हम एजुकेशन सेक्टर की बात करें, हमारे जो टीचर्स हैं वो इस इलेक्शन प्रोसेस में एंगेज होते हैं। दैट मींस कि हम जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, हमारी जो प्रोसेस होती है, जो डे टू डे लाइफ में एजुकेशन हासिल करते हैं, वो भी इससे मुतासिर होती है। ये कोई नया कांसेप्ट नहीं है, ये 1951 से ये कांसेप्ट चला आ रहा था इंडिया में 67 तक। इससे जो इंडिया की जीडीपी है, अगर हम इस सिस्टम को लागू करेंगे, इंडिया की जीडीपी में बहुत ज्यादा इजाफा होगा। जैसे कि एरिस्टोटल कहते हैं, the whole is the greater than the sum of its parts. If India moves beyond fragmented election towards a single, well-planned electoral process, governance will be more efficient, public funds will be more utilized wisely, and the spirit of democracy will be established rather than the exhaust. Thank you, have a nice day.
Now I would like to call upon Mir Mudassir Tariq from District Bandipura.
Yes.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Respected jury, dear guests, my dear fellow listeners, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I am going to talk about a vision that one nation, one election, in before a Viksit Bharat. As the great saying goes that democracy is not just about elections, it's about governance that serves the people. But today, due to frequent elections, we are slowing down. And should elections be a tool for progress or a good for development? The idea is in Viksit Bharat. इंडिया एज यू नो आप जानते हैं कि इंडिया एक लार्जेस्ट डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री है डेमोक्रेसी लार्जेस्ट इन द वर्ल्ड जिसकी वजह से इसको फेस करने पड़ते हैं फ्रीक्वेंट इलेक्शन उसकी वजह से डिस्टर्ब हो जाता है गवर्नेंस एंड मेनी अदर वेस्ट हो जाते हैं resources. Now what is the solution? Solution is holding Lok Sabha and state elections together. Now, what are the key points by which we can say that this is leading us towards a Viksit Bharat and developed India? Number one is it will save time and money. आपको पता ही होगा जब इलेक्शंस होते हैं उसमें बेशुमार hundreds thousands crores उसमें इन्वेस्ट किए जाते हैं उसमें खर्च हो जाते हैं अगर यही पैसा किसी और में खर्च हो जाएगा जैसे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हेल्थ केयर एजुकेशन तो इससे डेवलपमेंट हो जाएगा ऑब्वियस बात है एंड इट विल स्पीड अप डेवलपमेंट इलेक्शंस में क्या होता है उसमें मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट टू बी विच डिस्टर्ब हो जाते हैं स्टॉप हो जाते हैं गवर्नमेंट के न्यू प्रोजेक्ट्स अगर अदर साइड से हम देखें तो क्या हम देखेंगे वन नेशन इज इक्वल टू uninterrupted progress and the third is it ensures stability and better governance frequent elections की वजह से क्या होता है it will lead to vote bank politics and short term policies a single election cycle will allow leaders to fully focus on what focus on progress instead of preparing for next elections other countries like USA Indonesia and UK, they hold elections together by ensuring stability and efficiency. With a proper planning, India can also implement this this one election, one nation. At the conclusion, I want to say one nation, one election is not just an idea, it's a necessity for a stronger and a better India. This reform will bring efficiency, this will reduce political distractions, this will accelerate national progress. Only हमारी जो तरक्की है बढ़ाएगा उसको obviously बढ़ाएगा. So at the end I wanna conclude with this couplet, poetic couplet. वो सुबह कभी तो आएगी, वो सुबह कभी तो आएगी, जो अंधेरों का निशान मिटाएगी, जो अंधेरों का निशान मिटाएगी. हर एक रुकावट को तोड़कर, हर एक रुकावट को तोड़कर नए दौर की रोशनी लाएगी. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Before calling next candidate, I want to clear two things. First is that many students were asking why our category was written in the attendance sheet. So this category, we are not shortlisting candidates based on category. It is just for the data we have to submit to ministry. So nothing to worry about that. And second is after 3 p.m. we will be allowing some students who are far from their home to go. And for them, please collect your refreshment package before leaving. Now, I would like to call upon our next candidate, that is Khushbu Bashir from District Baramulla, GDC Tanmore. Khushbu Bashir, serial number 50.
Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to all of you. My name is Khushbu Bashir. I'm a student of the 6th semester from GDC. Today, I want to talk about a big idea, one nation, one election. Imagine if all the elections in India, big and small, happened at the same time. That's what one nation, one election is all about. Think about it, one big election, less time and money spent, and maybe faster decisions of our country. It could really help us build a stronger, more developed India, or Viksit Bharat as we call it. Dear friends, think of it like this. Imagine you have a bunch of projects to finish for school or college. Wouldn't it be easier to focus on one project at a time and get it done quickly? One nation, one election is like that for our country. We can focus on building a better idea without getting distracted by multiple elections. Of course, there are some terrains we need. We need to make sure everyone gets support fairly and that the election is run smoothly. But if we can do it right, one nation, one election could be a powerful tool for our country. So let's work together to make this happen. Let's make one nation, one election a reality and pave the way for a Viksit Bharat, a developed India that we can all be proud of. Imagine a country where resources are used more efficiently, where infrastructure projects get completed faster, and where the government can focus on solving problems instead of preparing for elections. That's the kind of Viksit Bharat we can create with one nation, one election. Now I will talk about some advantages of one nation and one election. It reduced election expenses, it increased voter participation, it improved governance, reduced political instability. Dear friends, I would like to conclude my speech by this quote. नफरतों के नाम से भी हम तबस्सुम करते हैं नफरतों के नाम से भी हम तबस्सुम करते हैं मोहब्बतों के साथ हम तकल्लुम करते हैं वो वतन से वफादारी का सबूत मांगते हैं वो वतन से वफादारी का सबूत मांगते हैं हम तो वतन की खाक से तयम्मुम करते हैं थैंक यू सो
Next is Humayun Rashid Ganai from District Baramulla, GDC Tangma. Serial number 14.
All this and all this. My dear friends, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Humayun from GDC Jungle Forces. Today I gonna give a speech in front of you. That is one nation, one election. पहले हम जान लेते हैं one nation, one election. इसका मकसद क्या है? इसका concept जो है वो क्या है? इसका main motto क्या है? A vision for a strong India. इंडिया को स्ट्रॉन्ग बनाना, इंडिया को एक तरक्की के उस मुकाम तक ले जाना जिस तक वो कभी नहीं पहुंची। One nation, one election is a visionary concept. ये एक visionary concept है that aims to streamline our electoral process and empower population development. अपने इस देश को एक ऐसे तरक्की के मुकाम तक ले जाना जिसमें अभी हम बहुत पीछे हैं। Reduces financial burden. अगर one nation one election यहाँ पे implement होता है तो इससे क्या होगा ये जो financial burden है ये reduce हो जाएगा बहुत हद तक। वो जैसे जो भी पैसा खर्च हो रहा है अभी और बहुत सारे elections पे जैसे assembly elections अलग हो गए ऐसे ही local elections अलग हो गए पार्लियामेंट इलेक्शन, ये सब इलेक्शन जो अलग होते हैं, इन पे बहुत पैसा खर्च होता है। सो जब ये एक ही टाइम पे एक ही दिन सारे इलेक्शन हो जाएंगे, एक तो पैसा बच रहा है और दूसरा जो है टाइम बच रहा है, इससे जो है हमारा देश एक तरक्की की मुकाम तक पहुंच सकता है। One nation, one election in India is a proposal for all nations in state elections instead of having them spread throughout the year. The good state assembly elections and two local body elections on the same day. तो मैंने अभी कहा अगर सारे elections एक ही दिन पे होंगे, तो इससे हमारा टाइम भी बचता है और फाइनेंशियल burden जो है वो भी रिड्यूस होता है, वो भी बहुत हद तक कम होता है। The idea is still in discussion. ये idea अभी भी under discussion है, अभी भी इस पे काम चल रहा है। The bill was introduced in India Parliament, Lok Sabha on 17 December 2024. 17 December 2024 में introduced legally ये bill अभी मतलब ये latest Five million more, 1.9 amendment. At last, I will conclude my speech. I hope you all understand what one nation, one election is.
I request all participants to remain silent while someone is speaking. Now I request Mubashir Riyaz from District Bandipura to come on stage. Serial number 66.
अभी मैं तिफले मकतब हूँ नवाजी हूँ न मौलाना, अभी मैं तिफले मकतब हूँ नवाजी हूँ न मौलाना, सदाए हक जो गूंजी है सुनाऊं हक का पैगाम। Respected jury members, esteemed guests, and my dear fellow participants, India is like a giant chessboard of politics, where every move should be strategic and calculated. Yet, in reality, the game is reset every 4 months. Pieces shuffled, strategy discarded, and progress erased. How can we ever checkmate or challenge it if we start again and again? This is not just a speech. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a call to action. My name is Mubashir Riyaz. I'm from Central District of Kashmir. And let's have a look on Lok Sabha 2024 elections. We spent almost 1.3 lakh crore. This is confirmed by the COVID committee that confirms that the real GDP of India could have been increased by 1.5%, which is 4.5 lakh crore. That is half of our educational medical expenses we spent, and that is 1/3 of the educational budget we spent. But money isn't the only thing we are losing. We are losing energy. We are losing time. Frequent election means the model code of conduct is enforced for at least 4 months every year, freezing policies, delaying infrastructure projects, and keeping governance stuck in the election movie. Now, let's talk about something very much special, which is our internal security, which is our national security. The 2024 general election is required 15 million security personnel, not to tackle border issues, not to tackle internal threats, but just to stay on polling booths, just guard the polling stations. Ladies and gentlemen, and yet, despite these enormous costs, we continue to divide governance into fragments and fragments into segments. But Bharat was never built on this division. From Chanakya's strategy governance to Sardar Patel's unification of India, we have thrived when we acted as one nation with one vision. Ladies and gentlemen, we take pride in calling ourselves the world's largest democracy. But shouldn't we also strive to the most efficient democracy? If one nation, one election worked for a young, newly independent India in 1952, why it will not work in 2047? Why it will not work in 2027? As my fellow colleague said that it could be possible if we conduct one election in 2027. And let's be clear, India won't be the first country to implement one election, one country, and one nation. Like countries like Belgium, countries like South Africa, countries like Germany, they have done it successfully. Now it's on us. But our path must be our own. The only way forward is through consensus, a collective commitment from leaders, institutions, and most importantly, you, the people of India. It's a revolution because one nation, one election is not just a reform. It's a revolution that will ensure no child will sleep hungry. It's a revolution that will ensure no farmer will go to bed with a disease. It's a revolution that will turn the dream of Viksit Bharat into reality. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Now I request Saika Banu from District Bandipur to come on stage. Serial number 92.
Assalamu alaikum to everyone. Myself Saika, I'm the student of GDC Super. आओ नए इरादे से एक नई दुनिया बसाए, हर राह को रोशन, हर सफर को आसान बनाए. India, the world's largest democracy, is the land of continuous election. Today I stand before to talk about a vision, one nation, one election. A step towards a stronger and more developed India, a Viksit Bharat. Think of a system where elections happen only once in a few years, saving thousands of crores of rupees spent on repeated elections. This money can be invested, used for schools, hospitals, infrastructure, and youth employment, directly contributing to India's development. Frequent elections slow down the policy making because of the model code of conduct which heads important decisions. A synchronized election system will be allow governments to focus on long-term policies rather than short-term election strategies, ensuring continuous development without disruption. One election across the country means less political instability, reduced corruption, and stronger democracy. It encourages national unity as leaders and citizens will focus on development rather than divided election politics. Where a single election cycle country means less political instability, reduced corruption, and stronger democracy. It encourages national unity as leaders and citizens will focus on development rather than divisive elections. With a single election cycle, people will be more aware, better informed, and more likely to participate, leading to higher voter turnout and more representative government. वक्त का ये तकाजा है मिलके नई दास्तान लिखे एक साथ चल के भारत को विकसित बनाए. One nation, one election is not just a reform, it's a revolutionary step towards a strong and stable developed India. Let's embrace this Indian idea and pave the way for a brighter future. Thank you.
Now I request Shazia Hassan, serial number 104 from District Baramulla.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to all of you. I am Shazia Hassan, representing here my college GDC Tangmag. Today I am going to speak about one nation, one election, paving the way for Viksit Bharat. One nation, one election basically एक ऐसी थीम है कि जो हमारी कंट्री है, एक कंट्री में एक साथ में इलेक्शंस कराने हैं. एक कंट्री में एक साथ इलेक्शंस कराना इज नॉट अ जोक. बट हियर हमारी जो गवर्नमेंट है उनके कुछ ऑब्जेक्टिव्स दिए गए हैं कि हम क्यों एक साथ में इलेक्शंस करा सकते हैं. First one is to save the cost. क्योंकि आपको पता है कि इलेक्शंस जैसे ही हम करते हैं उसमें बहुत सारे खर्चे आते हैं. अब रिसेंट इलेक्शंस की बात करें 2024 जनरल लोकसभा इलेक्शंस की, अकॉर्डिंग टू सीएमएस रिपोर्ट 1 लाख करोड़ जो इसका कॉस्ट आया है. अगर यही हम ये जो इसका कॉस्ट है, अगर हम रिपीटेडली यही इलेक्शंस करते रहते हैं तो ये इसमें चला जाता है. जबकि अगर हम एक साथ में इलेक्शंस करें तो फिर ये खर्चे बहुत सारी जगहों पे जो है इस्तेमाल किए जा सकते हैं. एंड द सेकंड वन इज मॉडल मोड ऑफ कंडक्ट. जैसे ही इलेक्शंस कंडक्ट किए जाते हैं तो वहां पे जो आचार संहिता लागू होता है, दैट मीन्स कि ये वो गाइडलाइंस होती है जो कि जिसके बाद गवर्नमेंट कोई भी विकास कार्य नहीं कर पाते हैं. दैट मीन्स कि वहां पे गवर्नमेंट को पॉलिसी पैरालिसिस होते हैं, जिसकी वजह से बाकी जो डेवलपमेंट है कंट्री की वो रुक जाती है. नाउ इसकी कुछ क्रिटिक्स भी है. तो फर्स्ट वन इज इट वुड लीड टू एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव इश्यूज. क्रिटिक्स ये है कि हम एक साथ में इलेक्शंस क्यों नहीं कराना चाहते. तो फर्स्ट वन इज इट वुड लीड टू एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव इश्यूज. पहला ये है कि इसमें एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव इश्यूज होते हैं. दैट मीन्स कि एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के लिए वो इश्यूज पैदा होते हैं जिनको हमारी कंट्री को बर्दाश्त कर पाना नामुमकिन हो जाता है. आप रिसेंट इलेक्शंस की बात करें जो 2024 लोकसभा इलेक्शंस जो हुए हैं यूपी में, हम यूपी में जो एक ही दिन में बिल्कुल इलेक्शन कंप्लीट नहीं कर पाए, उनको अलग अलग सेक्शन अलग अलग स्लॉट्स में हमें करना पड़ा. या अपने यूटी ऑफ जम्मू एंड कश्मीर की बात करें, जबकि ये एक स्मॉल टेरिटरी है, एक स्मॉल यूटी है, हम इस टेरिटरी में जो है एक ही दिन में इलेक्शन जो है कंप्लीट नहीं कर पाए. तो आप इतने बड़े ये जो हमारी कंट्री है, इतना बड़ा मुल्क है, आप इसमें एक ही दिन में कैसे इलेक्शन कर सकते हैं. Now the second one is it weakened federalism. जैसे कि आप सबको पता ही है, federalism means distribution, power distribution between center and state. अब ये जो one nation one election जो है, ये सेंटर की तरफ से आया है कि हमें पूरे मुल्क में एक साथ में जो है इलेक्शन कराने हैं. आप एग्जांपल लीजिए कि हम राज्यसभा इलेक्शंस जो हैं वो बीच में करते हैं. एंड देन Thank you so much. Okay. तो आप राज्यसभा इलेक्शंस आप एग्जांपल लीजिए, हम बीच में करते हैं एंड देन हमें ये बोला जाता है कि हमें फिर से इलेक्शंस करने हैं, लोकसभा इलेक्शंस हमें फिर से करने हैं. तो हमें री इलेक्शंस लोकसभा के भी करने हैं, राज्यसभा के भी करने हैं, हमें सारे इलेक्शंस फिर से करने हैं. तो जो इनका टाइम होता है 5 years का जो होता है, तो उनका वो करके Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shazia. Now I call upon Mariam Jan from District Baramulla. Serial number 55.
Respected dignitaries, esteemed guests, and fellow India. I stand before you today not just as a proud student of Government College Baramulla, but as a dreamer who dares to imagine, a believer who refuses to doubt and adore, who strives to dream. Because the India of 2047 is not a distant hope, it's a destiny waiting to be realized, an unstoppable force in the making. Imagine India in 1947, a nation breaking free from colonial chains, struggling yet determined, bruised yet unbroken. Now fast forward a century to 2047, what you see is a nation where governance is seamless, policies are swift, elections move forward without disruptions. A nation where one nation, one election has laid the foundation for political stability, economic efficiency, and uninterrupted progress.
Viksit Bharat 2047 is not just a government initiative, it's a people's moment. Yes, it's my, your, and our moment. And at its core lies a strong and unified electoral process that ensures our resources, time, and energy, which is proportionally directed towards nation building rather than repeated election cycles. With one nation, one election, we achieve a streamlined governance system where leaders focus on development rather than constant campaigning, and economic booms and businesses and policies no longer face disruptions. Greater voter participation and synchronized elections create a sense of unity and national responsibility. A stable policy environment where governments can implement long-term visions like Digital India, Make in India without interruptions. Dear audience, 2047 is not too far. It's right here around. It's right around the corner. And here is the million-dollar question: are we just waiting for a change, or are we making it happen? Will we remain spectators in history, or will we be the architects of a developed India? If Japan could rebuild after Hiroshima, if South Korea could rise from war, if Singapore could transform from a fishing village to a financial gain, then why not India? Let's stop waiting and start creating. Let's build the India with our hands, minds, and spirit. Because the future of India is not written in policies alone, it's written in our collective action. Time is now, the responsibility is ours, and the future is one nation, one election. The future is Viksit Bharat 2047. Thank you.
It's 3 o'clock. Now we can allow some students that are from far places to leave in a phased manner. For now, the next candidate is Muhammad Peer from district Kupwara. Serial number 64. And the students who want to leave, please collect the requisite refreshment package and submit the feedback as well as our travel allowance form. Please do not leave without submitting.
Today I stand before you to discuss the promise of the idea, one nation, one election. A vision that can revolutionize India's democracy process and pave the, pave the way for Viksit Bharat, a developed India. India, the world's largest democracy, conducts multiple elections throughout the year. While elections are the lifeline of democracy, frequent elections come at a cost, financial burden, policy paralysis, and administrative disruptions are some of the challenges we face. Can we afford to let this continue for cheaper? The one nation, one election policy purposes synchronizing elections to be held simultaneously across the country. Elections often pure regionalism, casteism, and communal tension. Political parties exploit social divides or voters, leading to violence, polarization, and instability. A single election will minimize these frequent tensions and promote national unity. Frequent elections requires a huge financial resources too. Political parties and candidates often depend on corporate donations, leading to allegations of the favoritism and policy manipulation. Leading the, leading the, leading the allegations of the favoritism and policy manipulation, with a single election, the pressure to raise the excessive funds decreases and it will reduce corruption risks. One more thing, many voters seek in local and state elections. leading to poor turnout. A single event will boost participation and ensure a stronger democracy. While implementation requires the constitutional changes and political consensus, no great transformation is ever easy. As Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. A suitable democracy leads to a stronger India, and a stronger India leads to a Viksit Bharat. Thank you very much.
There's a lot of chatter going on when the speaker is speaking something. I request everybody to be silent out of respect for the speaker. Thank you. I would like to call Umar from Bandipora. Umar from Bandipora to come on stage. Is he here, Umar? Serial number 121.
Respected viewers, my dears and dears, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. One nation, one election, a bold step towards Viksit Bharat. What if elections could unite the nation, reduce and allow the unattended progress? One nation, one election, a visionary idea led by Modi government aims to do just that. This article takes a close look at elections can steal governance, steal values and resources. Former President of India, Ram Kovind, discusses it as one of the forum proposed by the government in his address to Parliament in January 2018. He said, there is concern among citizens regarding the continuous elections in some parts of country. This hurts economic and development. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also been vocal about holding a single election across the country. So this is not a sudden idea, but it has been discussed. India is the world's largest democratic country, and elections play a crucial role in shaping its future. Currently, we are having separate elections in Lok Sabha and Assembly elections at different times. This led to frequent election convenience, government expenditures, and temporary halt of development work. This idea of one nation, one election means holding Lok Sabha and state assembly elections together across the country, by which we can save money and resources. Frequent elections require a huge amount of money for security and staff. Conducting all elections together reduce cost. Recently, one nation, one election, being known as 129th Constitution Amendment Bill, has been introduced in the Lok Sabha to prove the way for this reform. This reform will reduce election expenses and ensure policy continuity. Frequent elections impose the modern code of conduct, show down decision making. Unfit elections will allow governments to focus on long-term development rather than continuous campaigns. At last, I must say, let's unite to build and develop India by 2047.
I request participants not to move in out from the conference room frequently, and all students who are leaving must submit their feedback form as well as the travel allowance form to the girls NSS volunteers that are still behind at the door, not at here. Please kindly note it. Next, we have Council Mir from GDC Baramulla, serial number 51.
अस्सलामुअलैकुम एवरीवन, मेरा नाम कौंसिल मीर है। मैं जीडीसी उड़ी बारामूला में बीए 6 सेमेस्टर की स्टूडेंट हूँ। हम सब जानते हैं, हम लोग यहाँ पे वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन मतलब विकसित भारत के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं। सभी को टॉपिक का नाम तो पता है। विदाउट वेस्टिंग टाइम मैं अपना टॉपिक पे बात करती हूँ। मेरे लिए वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन मतलब एक देश है तो एक ही चुनाव होना चाहिए। इससे ये होगा, एक तो टाइम की बचत होगी, साथ ही साथ में जो गवर्नमेंट है वो बहुत सारा पैसा वेस्ट करती है इस पे चुनाव पे, तो उससे अगर वो इस सब को छोड़ के वो अगर फोकस करें जो सामाजिक लोगों की जो बातें हैं, मतलब उनकी जो काम है या फिर उनके पॉलिटिकल स्टेबिलिटी जो हमारी इंडिया वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन जिससे बात करनी है, इससे पहले भी ये पहली बार नहीं है जो वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन पे बात हो रही है। 1951 में से लेके 1967 तक ये आइडिया ट्राई किया गया है, लेकिन उस समय पे उसने 4 इलेक्शन एक ही टाइम पे कराते थे, विधानसभा इलेक्शन, राज्यसभा, साथ साथ म्युनिसिपैलिटी इलेक्शन और लोकसभा इलेक्शन। और साथ ही साथ में इसका ये फायदा भी है, एक तो लॉन्ग टर्म अवेयरनेस होगी हमारी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज को, उससे ये फायदा है उनका कि उनको इन सब से हट के ज्यादा समय मिलेगा। जो पॉलिटिकल एजेंडाज हैं हमारे मतलब नेशनल एजुकेशन पे वोटर अवेयरनेस होगी और साथ साथ में रेलिवेंट चीजें होगी और लेस डिस्ट्रक्शन होगा। जो इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ हमारी जिससे उसको भी ज्यादा फायदा होगा। नेशनल इश्यूज पर बात होगी, साथ ही साथ में जो समस्याएं हमारे जो हल नहीं होती हैं और ज्यादा से ज्यादा जो जब वोटिंग होती है तो उस टाइम में बहुत ज्यादा वायलेंस किया जाता है। अगर वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन होगा तो वायलेंस भी बहुत कम होगी और ज्यादा टाइम की बचत भी होगी। और हमारे जो फॉर्मर प्रेसिडेंट हैं इन्होंने दोबारा से ये बात शुरू की थी 20 जनवरी 2018 में। उन्होंने एक हाई लेवल अथॉरिटी कम्युनिटीज बिठाई थी, उसमें उन्होंने इस पे दोबारा से बात की थी कि ताकि हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में अमेंडमेंट लाई जाए और इस देश को डेवलप बनाया जाए। और उसके बाद जब जो हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर है नरेंद्र मोदी जी, इन्होंने कहा है कि विकसित भारत का मतलब ये है कि आने वाले 2047 तक जो हमारे देश को बराबर 100 साल हो जाएंगे आजाद हुए, तो उस वजह से हमारे इंडिया विल बी मतलब इंडिया बहुत अच्छी कंट्री बन जाएगी, डेवलप्ड कंट्री बन जाएगी और साथ ही साथ में इसकी इंटरनेशनल इमेज भी सुधर जाएगी। क्योंकि हमें पता है कि इतनी ज्यादा चीजें हो रही हैं। और मैं लास्ट में कंक्लूड करना चाहूंगी, जब हमारे देश को महात्मा गांधी ने आजाद करवाया था, उन्होंने एक कोट लिखा था, ईच वन हैज फाइंड हिज पीस from within and peace to be there must be unaffected by outside। हर एक को अमन एंड सुकून से जीने का मतलब सॉरी फॉर नर्वसनेस, ये मेरा पहला टाइम है मेरे प्लेटफॉर्म
Next we have Mohammed Malla from district Bandipora. Serial number 63.
May I have everyone's attention, please? चले जो साथ मिलकर नए रास्ते बनाते हैं, चले जो साथ मिलकर नए रास्ते बनाते हैं, एक सोच एक इरादा नए ख्वाब सजाते हैं। Respected dignitaries, honorable judges, and my dear friends, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Myself, Muhammad Ilyas from GDC Sumbal. Today, I stand here to deliver a speech on a vision that has an immense power to transform India's governance, to transform India's democracy, and to transform India's legacy. Simply, one nation, one election. First of all, let me explain you Viksit Bharat. By the year 2047, India is on a mission
Simply, Viksit Bharat. Viksit Bharat, a developed India. And that is socially inclusive, technologically advanced, globally influential, and lastly, socially inclusive and economically strong and bold. A developed India is one where every citizen enjoys equal opportunities, prosperity, and stability. And stability is the utmost characteristic of a nation. In a country as vast and diverse as ours, elections are the backbone of democracy. But the frequent occurrence results in economic burden, policy stagnation, and political instability. It is time to rethink and restructure our electoral system. A single election cycle, a synchronized election system, one nation, one election, a step towards a stronger and more developed India and Viksit Bharat. My dears, have I ever wondered why, despite being one of the fastest growing economies, why our governance is sitting lag? Why our governance is sitting lag, and why our governance can't foster the activities? Why our government is sitting in a cycle of loops and cycle of delays? The answer is simple. India is always in election mode. Every few months, some part of country goes to polls, diverting attention from the real governance. Ministers, instead of focusing on policies, get busy in campaigning. And this constant political engagement disrupts long-term planning and halts down and slows down decision making. My dears, imagine a system where governments work with full dedication for 5 years. And let me conclude my speech with the most famous couplet of Dr. Allama Iqbal. सितारों से आगे जहां और भी है, अभी इश्क के यहाँ और भी है. Thank you so much.
Now I would like to invite Wajid Bashir from District Bandipura. Serial number 122.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, and very good afternoon. Today I will be discussing a transformative idea for our nation, that is one nation, one election. Imagine a country where elections are streamlined and costs are minimized and development takes center stage. This is the promise of one nation, one election, and how it can drive our vision of Viksit Bharat, an India that is developed and prosperous. One nation, one election purposes to synchronize all elections at national, state, and local to be held simultaneously. This idea is not just about administrative convenience, it holds significant potential for our country's development. By conducting elections together, we can reduce the financial burden of multiple election cycles. This saved money can be redirected towards critical development projects such as infrastructure, healthcare, education, all key goals of Viksit Bharat. A unified election process can lead to greater political stability and allow governments to focus on long-term development strategies rather than constant election campaigning. However, implementing one nation, one election is not without challenge. It requires significant logistical planning and political consensus. To address these, we need comprehensive electoral reforms and widespread public awareness. In closing, one nation, one election can be a pivotal step towards achieving the vision of Viksit Bharat. It is a path towards efficient governance and accelerated national development. But remember, it's not just the government's responsibility; it's ours too. We have to take steps to towards towards this vision, to complete this vision, to make it real. And let's embrace this change and work together to make this vision a reality. Thank you.
Now we have the only student that is representing SSM College of Engineering and Technology, that is Ifshan Sajad from District Anantnag.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ishan Shazal. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ishan Sajal, and today I want to take you on a journey, small journey towards a stronger, more efficient, Viksit Bharat. But before we begin, let me ask you something. How many of you enjoy giving exams? Almost no one, right? Almost no one. Exams are stressing, exhausting, demanding. अब सोचिए अगर हमें हर एक सब्जेक्ट का एग्जाम देना पड़े हर मंथ, यानी कि अगर हम हर वक्त एग्जाम मोड में रहना पड़े तो कैसा लगेगा? Obviously exhausting, stressful, right? Now now imagine the same problem faced by our nation. Frequent elections are like constant exams for our government. लोक सभा, स्टेट असेंबली, बाई इलेक्शन एक तो खत्म होता है, दूसरा शुरू हो जाता है, और इस काम में जो है जो असली काम है वो पीछे रह जाता है, वो है गवर्नेंस. So what is one nation, one election? The idea is simple but revolutionary. Conducting Lok Sabha and State Assembly elections together on the same day and on the same phase. एक ही दिन में पूरा देश अपने 5 साल का फ्यूचर डिसाइड कर लेगा, राइट? सो क्या ये आसान होगा? शायद नहीं, लेकिन पॉसिबल बिल्कुल है. Why is it necessary? Let's break down the benefits. Saving resources. You know how much elections cost, right? Thousands of crores. Thousands of crores. Imagine if all that money was spent on education, on healthcare and better infrastructure. ये वो रास्ते हैं जो भारत को विकसित बनाने में मदद कर सकता है. दूसरा, political stability. Right now, our government are always in election mode. It's like preparing for board exams while dealing with weekly tests. सही से काम ही नहीं हो पाता. But if we have one nation, one election, the focus shifts back to the governments, not on constant campaigns. अगर सरकार को अपना काम करने दिया जाए बिना इलेक्शंस के प्रेशर के, तो क्या वो बेहतर काम नहीं करेगा? But wait, is it that easy? Of course not. कोई भी बड़ा काम करना आसान नहीं होता है. लेकिन like all great ideas, this one too faces challenge. Constitutional amendments, logistical arrangements, political consensus. It's a complex puzzle. But remember, great achievements are born from great challenge. So how do we make this happen? We need to synchronize elections to avoid disruptions, and most importantly, work with unity and dedication. मिलकर काम करेंगे तभी तो हम एक नया रास्ता बना पाएंगे ना. तो क्या हम इस अपने भारत को इस नए रास्ते पर लेकर चलने के लिए तैयार हैं? क्या हम मिलकर एक विकसित भारत बनाने के लिए तैयार हैं? If the answer is yes, let's not just dream of change. Let's become the change. Thank you.
Thank you, Ifshan. Now I would like to call Irfan Ahmed Mir from District Baramulla. Serial number 45.
सर वो मैंने लिखा, उसको क्या करना है अब?
The student wants to speak on wireless mic, so until we fix that, let me invite another student, Irtika Bilal from GDC Baramulla, serial number 48.
Good afternoon, everybody. Myself is Etika Bilal. Today, I'm going to talk on a very important topic, that is